hello. To nobody out there but for myself when I'm gonna rewatch the video when I get old. I'm on Suzuka in AMG GT3. And I'm gonna try to push it again. My pace is a bit off, but I've had a couple of good laps, a couple of good qualifications. But it's not easy.
Mid-lane speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour. Pit exit looks clear.
But I love this track. The flow, this first section is so nice, and then a couple of really technical hard corners. Off track. That section. Still cold tires.
Debris on the track. They're showing the red-yellow flag.
People doing 56s.
Okay, Daniel, you need to watch the track limits. B27.
So bad.
Pass left to
E7.
6.
Idiot.
Alright, Daniel, you need to watch these track limits.
Those Ferraris are really catching up. Not feeling like it.
Slippery surface flag. Track limits, there's that way deleted.
One more lap after this. Let's try again.
P8. Mind these track limits, please, Daniel.
Let's try again. We're not making so many mistakes in practice.
Just safety fast, left of the station.
Get out. All right. Let's check how it's going on the notes.
And LS3 beforehand was actually quite warm, quite sunny. So yeah, at the end of the day, you are varying those levels of camber to optimize the tire. Potentially, on the colder days, you would put more camber on to then really work those inner edges, so the inner edges of the tire are warmer for longer. Right. And then on the warmer days, maybe you need to spread that load over the tire for a little bit longer, so you're flattening the tire effectively to spread the load. So that would be a very simple explanation.
Yeah, well, it was adequate as well. And the other thing is, you guys didn't have to. You knew that you were through qualifying, so you didn't have to optimize a setup that would optimize a lap, if there is such a thing as an optimized lap around the Norwich line. So how different is the setup with regards to if you were having to qualify instead of already being there? Would the setup have been massively different, canvas casters, etc.?
I mean, a pointy car is generally a fast car. There is a trade-off to that, and obviously a trade-off at a Grand Prix circuit versus here at the Nordschleife first. So, yeah, you could definitely get away with a slightly pointier car, slightly, more aggressively set up, stiffer, that will extract all of the grip from that tyre, but it may not last the whole race.
Checkered flag, P8.
Works its tyre differently. So, for example,
2 minutes to go,
from
2
Aston
minutes.
Martin, we'd always start the oversteer, especially around here, effectively. Whereas the Merc, you lose the fronts more, so then you have to like switch. You can prioritise the tyre when it comes in for 2 laps in top quali, or you can prioritise it for 8 laps where it's a consistent, drivable, comfortable. Because yeah, we've seen even just in the last few minutes, like you're doing some very funny things at some very odd parts of the circuit to avoid something that's happening in front of you, of which you don't want the car on a knife edge, because yeah, then it might spit you off.
That first 6 hours of this race is possibly the most nuts first 6 hours of any motor race I've ever witnessed. How difficult was it out there with regards to, you get into a rhythm, don't you? You get into the rhythm of the lap, you get into the rhythm of dealing with the traffic, but then when that rhythm is constantly truncated, surely the drivers out there were saying, not another one, not another one, and not another one, because we were literally code 60 after code 60, incident after incident. How difficult is it to refocus?
I think you never... So we talk like in sport psychology about being in flow state, being in the zone. And I think actually for us racing drivers, we have it reasonably easy because you're constantly attentive. There's a very rare occasion in which you are in conscious thought, effectively.
You mean you didn't notice the sundown, the beautiful sunset that we had? I don't know if you were in the car for that time. You don't notice any of that?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, no, because you're in a bit of a tunnel vision, really, yes, in those points. So, and I think even in a code 60, you're still optimizing everything. So, like, how close am I on the limiters? Can I shortcut this corner? How many laps left to the stint? If there's
All right. Let's see what we can do. Seeded 5th. It's not good. Not good. Because I'm not gonna qualify like top 10 and I'll be happy. Let's try.
Okay, Daniel, you've got 2 laps to get the job done, mate. Track temperature's fallen. It's now 21 Celsius.
Green, green, green. Okay, here comes your first time lap.
157.46. The leader was just done at 157.00.
So bad. Way later than I wanted.
Got a
bad exit.
4 seconds off the leader's pace. You've just done at 158.34.
Chicken flag, chicken flag.
Would have been 57. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's all right. It's all right. P8. I think I can see P8 for now. Let's go back to this.
Potentially that was an artificial way to just separate them. Because at the end of the day, they're both factory cars, and at the end of the day, they're racing for the brand. The drivers are absolutely racing for themselves, but you sometimes remember who pays you.
Yeah, good point. Been telling Snowy that for years. He still hasn't grasped the concept. Hence he's in the comms box.
5 minutes ago we had a decision about the number 80 Mercedes. They were investigating maybe some speeding in a code 60, but that's been checked now by the officials, and it is a no further action. Haven't seen anything about this potential short pit stop for one of the AMGs either, and one or two of you remarking on the collective that the graphics that tell us the countdown of a minimum pit stop reference time don't always sync with the timing system from Vega. So although there was this 0.7 of a second that looked like it hadn't been served in one of the pit stops, I think enough water has gone under the bridge now.
That's the end of the session. 8th place.
Johnny, I know we've only got a couple more minutes before Snowy and Hindhoff turn up. I just want to say hello to Sammy Moutran, one of the Moutran brothers.
So yeah, top 10 in quali again. That's good. P8.
Hospital, telling me nothing serious, so he's just detention seeking. Get well soon, Sammy. We're keeping him sane while he's on his hospital bed, recovering from whatever it is, a big toe or something, an ingrown toenail probably. So stop your attention seeking, Sammy. Crack on, mate.
This race for this year, David Pittard, falling slightly earlier than it did last year because it goes with the bank holiday. So it was Ascension Day on Thursday in Germany and other places too, so I understand. It was a June race last year, but
One to go. Next time by. Line up on the left side. Closed.
Pit stop,
Pit road
clear
is
all.
closed.
Pit stop, clear all.
Understood. T minus 60 seconds. 20 minutes. Field strength is 4,000. The track temp is 21 Celsius. The air temp is 20. Okay, rolling start. Follow car number 9 in the left column. Safety car speed is 84 kilometers per hour.
What the fuck?
We need to catch up to car
Jets
number
up
9.
9, car.
Catch up to car number 9.
Jets up 9, car.
Catch up to car number 9.
Jets
To
up
catch car
9,
number
car.
9. Catch up to car number 9.
About to go green, stay focused.
Okay, Daniel, you ready? Watch for the lights.
Green flag, green flag. Left side. Clear.
The car in front of us is Carano. Their rating is 4.5. Good start, mate. Limits. P6.
That's nice.
Mateo is gaining on you. The gap is now 0.6. Okay, Daniel, going out of track limits, keep it between the lines.
Running a lot of X's. To catch the other guys.
6th place. Remaining, 15 minutes to go. Captain Mateo behind is now 0 seconds.
Fast, flat for you.
Sectors 1 and 2 are fast. Sector 3 is 2.8 seconds off the pace.
Catching the guys ahead. It's okay.
That lap time was 1:57.85. Sector 3 is 2.9 off the pace. 7th position. Behind is now 1.2.
Brake a bit earlier.
New fast flat for you.
Okay, Daniel, 10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes left. Focus on the exits. We can go faster here. To 7th position. Behind is now 1.3 seconds.
Oh. Not looking at the time, but it felt good.
Daniel, that's half distance.
Definitely improved my pace. It's really nice. Overall. Oh, what was that? Missed the apex completely. That gap to be 1.5. That's not how you do. .4.
To Mateo, behind is now
1.5. Who's leading?
Enos, their rating is 9.9. Okay, Daniel, that's good consistency. Keep it up. That's half fuel. You've used half your fuel. The gap to Corrado ahead is now 1.7.
Hey, the gap ahead is smaller than the gap behind. That's cool.
5 minutes to go, 5 minutes left. Come on, keep digging.
.4. I'm catching.
That was at 157.80. To Corrado ahead is now 1.4 seconds.
Closing in. This time we up to space. Slower than the last one. Remaining.
Track limits. Gap to Corrado in front is now 1.7 seconds. That's 2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
I'm gonna catch him. I'm slacking. First lap was when I need the fastest lap.
You just got the white flag. That means one more lap to go.
Last lap. Pay attention to track limits, please, Daniel.
Okay, started P8, so 2 spots up. Second train. Oops.
The stewards warned us for cutting the track. Keep it between the white lines.
Again, safety rating is dropping like hot cheddar. I was always almost on A5.
Enos took the
It's
win.
okay. What's my tire temp?
Pardon?
What's my tire temp?
Say again. B6. Good race. Well done today.
What's
All
my
right,
tire
check
pressure?
flag. Nice
Didn't catch
run.
that.
Solid work.
Let's see what options I have here. Read corner names.
Didn't catch that. Come again.
Read corner names.
Yep, okay.
So this doesn't have a name, what? Right,
That's the end of the session.
read the corner names, bastard. Get out. That's a good. I'm happy. It's a good result, honestly. Let's watch that one. Lap times are okay. So my start is slow again. I was really not expecting him to but the little gap It's not necessarily bad. But I'm staying on the outside, I think. No, yeah, I took the inside. It's crazy, man. Was that it? Is that the 2 overtakes? Yeah. Okay. But goodbye. I love how the Corvette has a red tint window. I've never seen that before. This race was really without any action, except that one, which wasn't real action. What about behind me? This is awesome. They're teammates, man. Damn. P6. I'm happy.
No, the closer to the end you can get, it's not that IMSA where like getting your final pit stop done early.
You want to get your last
There's no
pit stop done
safety cars, there's
first.
no reset, there's none of that.
I think it's the
You
first
just-
time I got
Your
points.
strategy is set.
Oh no,
from
second time I get
almost
points
the first stop,
on
effectively, and you
Suzuka.
just got to see where the end of the race
Because
is coming.
effectively, if you had a whole load of slow zones, I'm not saying you could save 20 minutes or 25 minutes, but that could skew because there's big differences in lap times if you've got a big slow zone, a big code 60.
Agreed.
You can add 2 or 3 minutes on your lap time, and then all of a sudden, saving 7, 8, 9 minutes. That's possibly only 3 laps. You might have saved 9 or 10 minutes. Yeah, that makes sense. So you keep going. You run to your fuel plan rather than your time or your tyre. Well, tyres you're changing every single time through, aren't you?
Yeah.
You were on the. What tyre manufacturer were you on?
Michelin.
You are on Michelin, yeah. So what did you have here? We've had a lot of people asking, because this is so unusual that it's an open tyre formula, which is great. First of all, I know why it doesn't happen, and it's a cost thing, and it's like arms race, lots more spending, but it's great. But not only do you have a choice of tyre manufacturers, you have a much wider variety of tyres from your manufacturer than you would normally have. What choices have you had this weekend, and what decisions have you had to make?
So yeah, we've had starting with slick tyres, we have the cold Michelin, the medium and the hot.
Right.
And they're all basically tailored to specific track temperatures.
Right.
So up to about 8 or 9 degrees track temperature is the cold tyre, which we were potentially used overnight, but we didn't get that far, so I can't actually tell you if we used that or not. Medium has a huge window where it starts from about 10 degrees up to 25, and then the hot goes beyond then effectively. Then it gets really interesting with the wets and drying wets, and
Is that what drying wets is what we used to call intermediates?
Intermediates, yeah.
Because that's quite unusual nowadays to have an intermediate. There are not a lot of championships, and not particularly not GT championships. In fact, a lot of GT championships don't even have a choice of compound for your slicks. So are those drying wets, those intermediates, are they
pre-cut or pre-moulded with the sipes, or are they getting hand-cut, or a bit of both?
I don't know if you've seen the Michelin hypercar tyres, but they look very similar to that, which actually looks like a road tyre. So
really?
there's almost quite there's 3 grooves or a number of grooves on the inner edge. Then it's reasonably flat, slick on the outer edge. So I think like as the grip comes, as the track dries and you roll over onto that outer edge, you have more slick available, more surface area, more grip. So yeah, there's some very intelligent thinking in those mixed conditions that have been put, and engineering that have been put into those tyres, which is always fascinating to try out. And we have a couple of compounds for those as well.
And then a wet tyre, or a wet tyre and a monsoon tyre? Or?
No, the monsoon tyre. Well, the full wet is the full wet, basically. It's what we had to use on Thursday evening. And it wasn't going to get much wetter than that.
You know the tyre that I would have been using on Thursday night would have been the one on my road car to get out to the hotel.
I was going to say a rubber ring, like
well, actually that would have been, and a paddle.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the only tyre that I wanted in contact with the road was the one on my road car to get the heck out of it.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Matt Campbell in the Grello, which perished many hours ago in a bizarre, slow, lazy spin with Kevin Estre at the wheel at Brunshan 2 after somebody had laid some contaminant down on the racetrack. Matt Campbell had to get a lap in because he was the reserve driver, so he didn't have a choice about not going out. He had to go around. I'm not sure what tyre it was on, but it was so wet it didn't make a blind bit of difference. I think he was on tick over for 3/4 of the lap. Did you see any of the onboard?
I was watching the onboard, and I used that as an argument not to go out at that point because I was due to go out at that time. And I said to my team, "Look at that. Let's not go out."
That's Matt Campbell in a Manthey Porsche, who know this place better than anyone else, in a Porsche with a slight bias of weight over the driven wheels, and look at the way he's having to drive that.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't think he got out of second gear. It was tick over in second and third.
No, I mean, the tricky situation with that is getting on throttle, you aquaplane, but the scarier situation is when you come off throttle and then you have the engine brake and aquaplane, and it's like pulling the handbrake on spontaneously, and that's, yeah, exactly.
And then you're just sliding.
You end up clutching in, which is like very unnatural thing to do.
To get the wheels to start turning again.
Just to let them roll rather than engine brakes. So.
David Pittard, who's with us from KCMG Motorsport Group. Peter Snowden.
That's an RSL scoop, I think, there. A racing driver, no less than Pitbull Pittard, a man that won this race outright 3 years ago, has just admitted, I don't want to drive a racing car around the Nordschleife in the 24-hour race. Well, I'm very brave of you to admit that, mate.
It was in
brilliant.
It's this risk versus rewards situation.
A measured decision, of course.
Go out to rotate it.
What you didn't have to do was give the guys a harsh overnight to rebuild the car.
Exactly that.
You've already got enough work to go on.
I was thinking about the guys.
You two are good. You two are really good.
I'm good. I'm good.
This is where I do wish we had that studio cam to see your two faces looking at one another, winking like, we've got this. They believe us. It's fine.
Sheldon van der Linde is on the charge.
Yeah, well.
This is where the best battle
What else does he ever do?
Yeah, when is he not? There's 7 minutes between Engel in the Winward Racing leading car and the Valkenhorst Aston Martin. They both have the same number of stops to do. So let's put Engel to one side at the moment. I don't want to ignore Winward because obviously they've dominated for more than half of this race. The number 3 car's dropping down outside the top 10 now with that right rear issue, suspension, whatever it is. So now the battle is for second and third place. The other 2 steps on the podium at the ADAC Ravenel 24 Hours of the Nürburgring. Valkenhorst Aston Martin, Nicky Team, no better man to have in if there's a fight because his Norse heritage will come to the fore and he will be wringing the neck of that car if he has to, and he'll have his elbows out for sure. Then you've got Sheldon van der Linde. Those 2 guys are on the same pit strategy and there are 5 seconds between them. 5 seconds between them is like basically it's Silverstone or any Grand Prix circuit. That's like being side by side round there. In here, in terms of the time difference.
Yeah, over such a distance as well. That's what's so epic about endurance racing, isn't it? the margins are just so fine when you look at averages and things like that. And I think that the Lambo, you're right, is in the fight as well. If there's a 4-lap split between them, there's roughly 20 to 15 seconds difference for those stops. It's about a minute.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I reckon the Lambo, the Aston, and the BMW are going to be duking it out for best of the rest.
I just think, unfortunately for the guys at BMW, oops, didn't want to do that, I'm getting tired. Just for the guys at BMW, I think that's just a little bit too far back to actually be in the fight, because they are, well, Engstler's, call it a minute and 17 behind second and a minute and 12, 13 behind third. Conor De Filippi is a little bit further back. He might... no, I think he's... Unless he's got some pace to play with. The good news is that they are... So they're on their 6th lap. They've got 2 more laps to go when they complete this one. But I think they can go full rich all the way to the end. Whereas it will be an extra little splash in the pit lane. So those 4 cars are going to have a bit of a fight. What do we know about the Lamborghini Huracan? It's the fastest car on the track. Pole position, outside pole position. First time a Lamborghini's been on the front row, and they only locked out the front row for the start of the race yesterday. And that car's done an 8:08.7 against best times of 13s, 12s, 15s of the cars ahead of it. I mean, the extraordinary thing is that Rover Racing BMW, the M4, its best lap is 7 seconds away from what the Lamborghini Huracan's done. Now, you're looking at perfect scenarios here, but that gives you, David Pittard, an idea. You wouldn't want to be at a 7-second disadvantage for 1 lap pace. You'd want to have that in your pocket, wouldn't you?
Yes, but yeah, I reckon that BMW's got it. It's got something.
I'm actually impressed that the M3 Touring has got a faster lap than the M4.
Yeah.
That to me, that's the start of the race if that stays like that.
Yeah.
Right now, David, before we let you can sit here as long as you like, but I want to ask you a question, and by all means, say, Hindhoff, I can't answer that, and why have you asked me, right? And this is about some testing that you've been doing with Toyota and the new car. It was your helmet I saw round here a little while ago doing a Thursday test. Is there anything you can tell me about that? Was it not you? Was it your helmet and somebody else was driving it? You can't tell me. Just tell me if you can't tell me. He's turned his back. That's your problem. Okay. You can't. That's no. You understand why I have to ask? Because I'm being asked as well, right? That's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. We're not the sort of people who try and trick. This is not Meet the Press or Newsnight or anything like that. And I've known David too long to fall out with him. So,
no chance of that, John.
Well, thank you very much indeed. All right, Fred Vervies is also picking up the pace. 6th position for HRT Ford Racing tonight.
I'm just going to ask David, while we've got him here, a potentially daft question, but it's always good to get a driver's angle. I'm going to ask you what's one of your favourite GT3 cars to drive. You're going to say anything that wins. You're going to say the 296, of course. Put the logical, initial, default racing driver question to answer to one side. What do you enjoy driving the most? What do you say about really get you and go, yes, I'm looking forward to that again?
A car with 4 wheels and a steering wheel. No, I'm joking. No, I'm not tied to any manufacturer, so I can be actually quite open with that one at the moment.
Do they all have different characteristics?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, like, front engine stuff, generally, they will overload the front axle in the slower speed stuff, so they don't rotate as well as the mid-engine Lamborghinis, who are always super fast on the Grand Prix circuit when you look at the sectors, because listening to, like, Nicky Katzberg talk about it, he says, I just have neutral steer, I don't have to do anything, it just turns itself effectively. Traction control, don't need that. Like, it's super impressive about that. The Aston has one of the best TC systems because it needs it. The traction's not amazing. The Merc has a very simple TC system because it's got so much grip, it doesn't need a complicated system. So yeah, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. But to answer your question, Snowy, the car I enjoy the most is the Porsche. The screaming flat six, 9,000 RPM engine.
No, so you've just ruined it, because I hope you were going to
feistiest.
Aston Martin this side of the booth and Porsche that side of the booth. So yeah, you know who pays you, don't you? Yeah, exactly. Back to that again.
That final iteration of that flat six, which came out of the GTE car, so for almost 4.2 now they got that out now, and it's 4.187 or something like that. And I once asked one of the engineers, why is it not just 4.2? And there was an engine sitting there without the head on, and he went, have a look at that. And the gaps between the pistons were infinitesimally small.
Crazy.
You could not measure them. That's as much as they could take them out. Guys, we've got a great battle here. It's for 6th, but Vervish and Vantor in the line speed GP. That car's been quiet. That Porsche's been quiet. I expected to see that further up. It didn't have a perfect start to the week. They're coming through the neutralised zone, through the Kleiner Carousel now, and up towards the Gallows Hill, the Galgenkopf, through this really tricky, looks easy on the track map, but it's a triple apex, effectively, triple pressure corner, you would call it in bobsleighing, and it's the last bit you've got to get right, David, to get the speed down on the Dottinger.
At this point, yeah, you're now full gas for 2.6 kilometres. Thank you very much, TV caption, for saving me some embarrassment. But yeah, it's fight on. You look at the way Nicky's attacking the traffic at the moment. He is trying to keep the Mustang behind him because he knows that Sheldon van der Linde in the BMW is coming. If he can keep a rear gunner in the Ford there, that helps him. But at the same time, the Ford wants to unlap itself and obviously achieve the best result it can as well. But you see that there's not much margin in the traffic that Nicky's taking at the moment. He's going for it.
So he could afford to let it through because it's a lap down, isn't it?
He could do, yes.
Unlap himself, and it's still not a battle for position yet.
Yeah.
I have some news on the number 3 car, and I don't think that car's coming out anytime soon. Whether they want to finish the race and take the checkered flag is something different. Stefan Wendel, who's the man at the head of customer racing for AMG, and a really genuine chap, loves his motor racing. Any time spent with Stefan talking is time well spent. As in for its pit stop on time comes the HRT Ford Racing Mustang. Don't worry, they're putting the dollies underneath. The fuel pistol grip is already in. They'll twist that back round to 45 degrees and park it nice and neatly. Stefan saying we received an ABS warning. Danny Hunkadea said he could handle it. Then noises and vibrations started. So 2 laps he tried to keep that going, made an unscheduled pit stop, and it was damage to the drive shaft, which has caused further collateral damage. We definitely want to get back into the race, so we are repairing it. So maybe a sensor.
You said a sensor, didn't you?
Yeah. Was that that would have been effect though if the drive shaft was going? The vibration might have taken.
Sounds like if it's collateral, maybe something's loose and just ripped a load of wiring, sensors.
Yeah. So
fair play to Danny for doing a couple of laps of no ABS around the Nordschleife.
Yeah, I can handle it.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, very good indeed. So this then the Bundeswehr sponsored machine, the German army in the camo, absolutely brilliant, and great to get them involved. It tells you a lot about the status of this event when you see the amount of manufacturers, the amount of real sponsors that are in there. Maro Engel coming in now. This is the leader, so he is almost a lap ahead then of that 67 of Frederick Vervish. So this now has to be a very sensible pit stop. They will, I guarantee you, they will check everything on that car. They have time in hand, over 6 minutes in hand. 2/3 of a lap nearly here. Around here. David, I am going to let you go this time. Thank you so much Indeed.
No worries. No, always good to chat.
When do we see you
Hopefully
again?
we can do it in better circumstances.
Yeah, well, indeed.
I will be at Le Mans with Darren in WRT, so
Excellent.
maybe I'll swing past there.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely great. They've had a good start to the season with a win with Dan Harper in the other car, so that's really good. With the guys there, Tony McIntosh and Parker Thompson, wasn't it?
Correct.
From that, and I'm told Tony's got a different throwback livery for every car this year, and he's not saying what they are. So
fantastic.
I'm absolutely,
what a character.
I'm loving it. And of course, BMW won outright at WRC last weekend. So there's a bit of momentum there, because I know that it's hypercar versus GT, but the rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, well, yeah, everyone's motivated, everyone's seen it happen, in-house, and yeah, they want to get that. I think Le Mans is about the only thing that WRT haven't won. They've won it in LMP2, but
yeah, even in odd circumstances when they had a sensor fail when they should have had a 1-2 in LMP2, and if a year, I still can't talk to him.
They're doing a steering wheel change on the lead car.
Oh, good spot. But again, they've got the time. You do everything. Anything that's throwing up a fault code.
Still 45 seconds of the minimum pit stop time, but then they've still got 7 minutes on top of that.
Anything that's showing up an error code, you're not just going to clear it at this point. You're going to search for it.
Looks like it.
Why would they do that, David?
I don't know.
I mean, that's quite a major thing. You don't change that during a race. Normally, this whole column's movable and adjustable. What's precautionary about that?
There's not much software or there's hardware in terms of the basic stuff of changing gears, but the AMG wheel is so simple. There's not actually much on there at all.
Is there a driver information system on that? Is there a screen? No, so that's in front of you. That's on the normal.
It's so basic.
Right, so it's gear change or radio button.
Start button, flash button, drink button,
and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
I've just got one question I just wanted to ask David Waddick, and then we will let you go. We've established you've driven lots of these lovely GT3 cars around here and other places. Lots of variety. What's your daily driver?
My Seat Leon.
There you go. There you go.
So
don't need anything special on the road when you drive these things.
Well, exactly.
My Seat Leon is very special.
Very special.
Well, yours is, of course, yes. It's got provenance, yes.
Well, we've got a little Seat Ibiza as well, a little station wagon. It's great. Not a fast wagon, but it is a wagon. Very small wagon. David, thank you, mate.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you very much.
And
thank you so much.
Adding great context to what we've seen. As you know, there's a lot of people here watching for the first time. You've given invaluable insight to people, and maybe you've grabbed a few fans. And obviously, you can follow David and the rest of the WRT BMW team at Le Mans via Radio Le Mans, and RS1 will be down there all week. We even cover the test day as well. Might even come see you then.
Yeah.
All right,
Sounds good.
Have a good one.
Cheers, guys.
Not got far to go home.
And I'll be in the pits coming to annoy him anyway.
Yeah, barbecue will be on later on. Indy qualifying tonight. What's your bit of that? Yeah. One and done tonight because it got rained off yesterday.
John, that was a typical driver's response, yeah? Indy 500 qualifying's like, is it on? I'm not in the race, so why would I know about it?
Good point. Good point. Well, let's just review what's been going on. An ABS and drive shaft problem for one of the two cars that's dominated more than half of the race. And the number 3, Winward Racing, Mercedes AMG, the Verstappen.com racing car, with just under 4 hours to go. Danny Hunkadaya tried to get it back, but the damage has been done.
Not unsurprisingly, David made some very valuable points, but the one that got my interest there was the possibility, and it is speculation, we don't know, but the possibility of that late night contact between
early morning,
early morning contact. You're right. Sorry, between Max Verstappen when he was in the number 3 car and Mauro Engel in the number 80 car. That's now the two teammates. It was side on side. So, okay, if that's the cause, and we are speculating here. So there's lots of ifs here, I know. But if that were to be something that's collateral further down the line, how's the 80 getting on? What part of that car was damaged or not in that incident?
Well, Fabi Schiller will be finding out as he goes out now. These races are seldom won by the fastest car. Talking to some of my Australian colleagues earlier on, and Jackie Warnock made a very, very good point on one of the socials. This place, Le Mans, Bathurst and Mount Panorama, it's almost as if the circuit has its own personality, and we say sometimes Bathurst chooses, the mountain chooses, and the Nürburgring has a personality, has a character like that. Jochen from Frozen Speed is back with us. What drama? What drama we've had. What sort of a night did you have?
I had a great night. It's become rare over the last years that I'm able to do all my wished for night photography, and there was no interruption this night, and I got my hoped for shots with the long exposure at Weersdijk.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, and then at Carousel as well. Yeah, that's just special. You're in the dark, in the cold, by yourself, and the cars are just buzzing by you, blinding you. It's a special feeling, and it pushes away your tiredness really quickly.
Nicky team in from third position in the Valkenhorst Aston Martin on the Pirellis. I take it for those long exposures, you've got to have a monopod or a tripod, probably,
yes,
actually.
I have a tripod and a remote control on the flash and on the shutter.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It was very clear overnight, even when we came in at 4:15 this morning, where we were out just south of Kelberg. It was quite foggy, but as the closer we got, the fog disappeared, and the stars were fantastic, but it was cold.
It was very cold, and it wasn't so clear at Weersdijk, to be honest, because the barbecue smoke was quite thick. It was quite thick, and to give some atmosphere to the scene, if I can, at one point there was a group of fans that went down the hill, and I know that hill very well, that hillside, and credit to them, they have more coordination than me to get there, and probably also more alcohol, and they were just really low down in the fence, dancing to their own music from upstairs.
Nice.
And the marshals kind of started whistling at them to get out of there. And every time they came in the light of the cars, all you could see was them dancing. And they were totally oblivious of, they looked at the cars, fair play, but they were totally oblivious of their other surroundings. And they just didn't stop dancing there in the headlights of the cars, and it was hilarious.
We have a phrase in England, don't we, John, that's a dance like no one's working or no one's watching.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
in just your own world. Yeah,
Absolutely.
brilliant.
Very, very good. Still 48 seconds of the mandatory pit time. Nicky team staying in the car, burning a bit of fuel at the back, running a little bit rich on the right-hand bank of that Aston.
Now, that's the car that we thought was slightly having a bit of a overfill, wasn't it? Like,
oh, yes, that's right. That is right. Well done, Peter. That was a long time ago.
On our morning stint, it's 5:30 to 7:30. That does seem like a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. I'm hearing that the Milner Motorsport Porsche Cup 2 car, the number 918, that's the one that Michelle Gatting is in, has had to call it a day. They've been driving without third gear for 4.5, 5 hours, which round here must have been difficult. And that is a paddle shift car as well, of course. It's not an H-pattern car.
I was just thinking that if you've got a manual paddle shift box, you can what they call block shift and miss it out. It's not ideal, but it saves it. But on a paddle shift, it's not as easy to go through a missing gear. On a manual lever, you can go 2 to 4 and miss it out.
Yeah, exactly so. Sequentials and paddle shifts, not that easy. The Subaru been leading its class. Now, it did drop out of the way of the lead in the class, the number 88, in the SP3T, isn't it, the number 88, I think. They're back in. Kota Sasaki behind the wheel. Just great exponents and supporters of this race down through the years. The bright blue STI Subaru Technica International WRX has its followers.
Yeah, I've got a fun detail on that car. I saw on one of the photos it's got a lot of Japanese writing on the bumper traditionally, and I put that through Google Translate, and it turns out to be the names of all the dealerships of Subaru in Japan, which I think is really cool. Yeah, I'm not
super cool.
I'm not 100% sure they have it again this year, but I suspect they do.
That is
they definitely
brilliant.
had it last year.
I love the little details like that. It's those wee stories that really make the difference. The reverse Grello, more green than yellow, is the 992. This is the SP Pro car, and the Greisman fuels machine. Manthey. Well, there's nothing much you can say about Manthey around here. They were actually in 2006 the last team to get a 1-2 finish. In 2016, the last time AMG won, it was 2 AMGs, but they weren't the same team. Olaf and subsequently his son running that and could barely get much closer. There's a few local teams here, but they're from just up the road. Always used to just drive the cars down, never even put them in the trailer, put a flashing amber beacon on the top, and get a little police escort to come down early in the week. So the B195 tribute, the Bitburger car, doesn't it work really well?
It does work
on the
really
McLaren.
Well. Yes. It's done by Berserk Design, who does great liveries since a long time at the Nordschleife.
Oh, no, we got a fire.
658, one of the BMWs. That's a 240i, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's the M240i Racing
Hakan Sari.
Club, yeah.
Now, not at the wheel of that, but I don't think he's aware that it is actually pretty well barbecuing underneath.
He is. He's going to get over the barrier, I think. And that's thick black smoke. It's caught.
It's now out the side as well, John.
It's caught on the grass as well. That needs the fire tender to it. Quickly, we saw a very lovely Opel Ascona A-code car in the DHLM. When was that? Friday. That's had an engine fire, which looked like a fuel fire, and that looked like a fuel fire as well. Jochen from Frozen Speed is here. So, Jochen, we talked about some of your assistants taking some great photos. How many people do you have working with you at an event like this?
At this event, I have one extra photographer, who's Florian Schmitz, who regularly helps me out at events, track days and races.
So, and your whole business now is photography. You don't have a quote-unquote day job. This is your day job.
No, motorsport photography has been my full-time day job since 2005. Yeah. So, and before I used to be an automotive software engineer. And yeah, in 2005 I decided to give it a go, and I was in the lucky position where I could decide to give it a go and see 6 months and then see what happens, and I never looked back, and I haven't regretted it for 1 second.
How much has changed in that time in terms of how you work, the equipment that you use, the amount of events that you do?
It's a good question. It's definitely a game of adapt to all the change, and that's the game for a lot of businesses, I suppose. It's just keep adapting. The landscape has changed. I'm doing a lot of track days now, more than I used to. We cover a lot of track days. Since last year, I'm very happy and proud to be officially partnered with the racetrack Spa-Francorchamps, which as a Belgian gives an extra warm feeling. And yeah, I am lucky to be able to pick some great races besides the NLS, to the Spa 24, the Spa WEC, the N24, of course. I'm lucky to be invited by Goodwood regularly to shoot for them at their fantastic events.
2008, by the way, I knew that. I just said the wrong thing. 2008 for the last 1-2 team finish. It was still Manthey. Well, the fire is out on that BMW. Drivers left. We've got one of the intervention vehicles there as well, and that is coming up to the end of the lap. Only a short tow into the pit lane. The BMW in second position, the Rover BMW. The last year's winning car, the number one, we had that perish earlier on in the race. There was a characteristic misjudgment by Raffaele Marciello, hit the back of the number 40 Z3 2013 car and came into the pits. Now, whether it's a direct result of that or something that had been bubbling under because they'd had some fueling issues in the pit lane, but a fuel fuel problem is what we heard from that car, and it was pretty quickly pushed out the back of the garage and back into the paddock. So, pit stop then for the number 99. Coming in out of second, and that car then with, what have we got? 138 laps completed, and so we have 2 hours and 31 minutes to go. Take about an hour and 7 off that for the next stint. That gives you an hour and 24. Take an hour and 7 off that, and that gives you let me see, gives you 18 minutes, doesn't it? 17, 18 minutes, so they're just short. Oh, dear me. That's going to be tight. So they can't make it on an exact number of stops. That number 99, the 99 and the number 34, which is the Nicky Team Valkenhorst car, which was in just a few moments ago. They're a little further on the wrong side of it. However, by my very rough and tired calculations, both the Red Bull Team at Lamborghini and the BMW M Motorsport M3 Touring 24H, the 81 car, currently in 5th, they could go at the end on an exact number of stops, so no little splash at the end. The leader has to splash at the end as well, but their current lead is well over 4 minutes. Let's call it 4.5 minutes at the moment. But the battle for second and third is absolutely on. And a little bit of rain or a little bit of neutralised track, and you stretch those stints from an hour and 7 to an hour and 10. Oh, hang on, then all of a sudden it's an hour and 15, and it starts to come down very quickly. Jochen from Frozen Speed.
Yes, John, if I can quickly come back to the question you asked me, what changed with my business. I realized that the biggest change that has happened in my business is that it changed from being the one-man Jochen show to a team effort. And that kind of happened, I think, around 10, 15 years ago, when I decided to start getting people involved that I had a great feeling with. Usually, well, without exception, they're friends, and I have a great feeling with them, and I admire their photography, and they've become really, they are really strong photographers helping me out. I've had people help me on the office side. I have people help me on the sales side. I have people helping me with the business advisor side, and all of them have pushed Frozen Speed to a different level. Yeah. And that's the biggest change, that it's not the one-man show anymore.
That's quite brave, isn't it? We went through the same thing. Oh, here's the rain. Excellent. And let's just roll the dice. And we've rolled a 6, so let's draw a chance card. Coming down through the Stefan Belloff S, Fabian Schiller, now leader of the race, on slick tyres. It's not heavy rain, but it's more than a little bit of mist in the air. I think all small businesses, all one-man shows, or as it was with even I for Radio Schulman, it was, you know, the two of us. You get to a point where you've got to decide, do we stay where we are or do we expand? But then if we expand, we can't do everything ourselves. And that's quite scary, isn't it?
It definitely was. But when you go out of your comfort zone, that's when you get the best results, I think. Also with creativity. Yeah, it was scary, but it's only paid off. It was without a doubt the right decision.
And you still enjoy it? You're still an enthusiast for not only what you do with the photography, but for motorsport in general?
Absolutely, yes. I love motorsport, and being at events like this, it just gives you that buzz.
I wish you could see the smile on Jochen's face at the moment. What's the next job for you? What's the next gig?
We have track days at Spa again with RSR Spa.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very well-established and well-known set of people. That company's been doing track days here as well, actually.
Yes.
And they've got a fantastic reputation. So effectively, you're there potentially taking pictures for the people who are on the track days, and they can come and order pictures from you.
Yes, we have a team of 3 photographers at the event and someone on the sales desk, which more often than not is me nowadays. and we take photos of all the cars, and you can, when you book the track day, you can pre-order the photo package, or you can just wander by in the morning or in the evening and check out your photos and take them with you then and there.
Brilliant. And that's technology, that has changed.
Absolutely, yes. The instant delivery and the instant delivery for social media and all those things that's key, and that you have to adapt to.
So when you look back to, as you said, the one-man Jochen show, how many times have you changed lenses? Good glass lasts forever.
Yes.
But camera backs have changed a lot in that time. How many different iterations of bodies of cameras have you been through?
Oh, well, I started with a Minolta A2, which was a fake DSLR, but it was great because it simulated the functionality of a DSLR, and I learned everything with that. And then I bought a Nikon D200, which was the best body at the time for motorsport. Then I went to the D300, then I think it was 310, then the D800, which was a fantastic camera. The D810 was an improvement. The D850 was a fantastic camera. I still love that camera. Then I went to the first Nikon mirrorless, the big one, which didn't work at all.
Oh, really?
Yes, no, that was not ready for motorsport photography. I had to give it back at a loss. And then I switched to Sony mirrorless, which was, I had then that in the backpack, which was good, the A9, but also wasn't perfect. None of them are, but it wasn't totally fulfilling. And then finally I switched to Nikon Z9. So now the mirrorless. The only negative comment about that camera I have is it's too heavy, but it's a brilliant camera. If you have two of those in your backpack with the big lenses, you know about it.
Well, coming from someone who, back in the days of film, used to shoot with Canon, and Canon by name, Canon by nature, they were always heavy cameras, but shooting rally, as I used to do in those days, if you banged them off a tree by accident, you knew they were going to be okay.
Yes, that's important.
Some of the polycarbonate bodies that were coming out around those times, I'm talking quite a long time ago, I had A1s with motor drives, and shooting film, as I said, that dates me rather. And they could take a bit of a hit in those days. Good little cameras. Jochen?
Yes, and the last camera I bought last year, I treated myself to a Leica Q3, which is lighter than the Z9, and it's a great camera. It's very focused in application, but it's a great camera. What it does is portrait shots, pit lane shots, and it definitely brings something extra there as well.
But like someone who likes guitars, if you like cameras, you've got to at some stage have a Leica, haven't you? You almost have to. It's like having a Fender Strat or a Fender Telecaster or a Les Paul Standard or whatever as a guitar player. Eventually you've got to own it, at least for a while.
Now that I have one, I have to agree. It's a very impractical camera. The design, the ergonomics are not good in my opinion, but it does bring something extra. It does produce some special images for sure.
Good luck. Good to see you. As I said when we spoke yesterday, good to see you looking well.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's always a pleasure, Jochen, you know that.
As you can imagine, I feel a lot less in my element behind the microphone than behind the camera. But I got some really very kind words from all the listeners yesterday, and I'm grateful for that. And I got a lot of photography questions, which I will do my best to answer after the event.
Oh, smashing.
And to finish, I want to give a big shout out to the Radio Show Limited team. You guys really lift this epic event to another level, and that's all the fans and we by Trackside. It's really a big joy, and I want to make a special note about the Nordschleife level of expertise of the whole team, which without exception is really at a really high level. The only other, and I know that comes only with big dedication, it's not easy. The only other commentator I see at that level of Nordschleife expertise is Oli Martini, and he grew up here, so you know.
That's massive. Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you very much
it's
indeed.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Always what we do is try to convey our enthusiasm and our love for this event, and one of the real Blue Ribbon events around the world. And also try to bring people up to that level as well. And there's an awful lot of people who haven't seen this event watching and listening this weekend, and I hope we've been able to convey some of the really different qualities that this brings. This is not your average endurance race. It is a one-off, and it's loved and sometimes hated, and it will measure by the people that come here. But it's a hard mistress, this place. It's not Le Mans, it's not Daytona, it's not Spa, it's not any of the other 24-hour races. And thank goodness for that, because variety is the spice of life, Snowy.
Can I just add one thing in sort of finishing, Jochen? In not your native tongue, you are far better behind the microphone than I would ever be behind the camera. So rest assured, you're doing a brilliant job on both sides. Cheers, mate. Good to see you again.
Likewise.
See you later in the year. That's Jochen from Frozen Speed. Look it up. The website is there. He's taking questions, apparently. He'll be busy with processing his pictures next week. Just whilst we finish with Jochen there, we've got the BSL Racing Porsche Cayman from the Cup 3 class. That's number 977 off into the gravel at the end of the pit straight, i.e. turn 1, and that's right up against the barriers. That's the first time we've seen somebody stuck there. We used to see a whole load of people in there, didn't we? But that's because it's got all the way across the gravel. So whether it's had a brake failure or something to get that far across. 977? 977, yes. BSL Racing it's a 718 Cayman GT4 Club Sport. Type 982 for you Porsche aficionados, which I know you are, John. I just want to get in. Only because it says on the screen. I didn't know that. Very good. Well, they've pulled it out now with very well the John Deere. Nothing runs like Deere, they say. Right, let's pick up some of the stories for people perhaps just joining us 20 minutes before 1 o'clock Central European summertime. And it is the battle for the positions behind our lead car on the podium. We've got Perm NE2 from, I think, 4. Outside bet maybe for Conor De Filippi. And for the Rover Racing BMW, the number 99 car, I honestly think it's between the Red Bull Team Abt car and the Valkenhorst Motorsport. Aston might just be too far out of it, but Engstler in a very strong position at the moment, in second position, and he, what have we got to go, 2:19, and he has been out there for, juggling about 4 screens here at the moment, so I apologise for that. And we have to sometimes swap feeds to do this here in the Global Broadcast Centre, right at the finish line. If it's a photo finish, we'll be able to call it for you here. Might not have Jochen's skill, but I'll get my camera out just in case. Engstler's on his 6th lap. Nicky Team is on his 3rd lap. Conor De Filippi on his 6th lap. And the Rover Racing, Van der Linde, because that triple stint for Sheldon Van der Linde. He's on his 1st lap out. Hello to Chris Suku. Great to learn about the Leica Q3 and Jochen's camera history. Can't say this when he's here. Jochen is an absolute Stonewall legend. He is, around
genuinely.
Genuinely
a legend.
That's a word that, John, you and I will both agree with is overused.
Absolutely agree.
And in that case, it's absolutely understated for him. Some of his work is just incredible. You and I watch many race cars and look at the driver sometimes and go, oh, we used to a very high level.